We're TTB, the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau.
Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Chris Thiemann, and I'm a program manager with the Alcohol and Tobacco Tax and Trade Bureau. And today I'll be giving some information about new import provisions applicable under the Craft Beverage Modernization Act. Starting with the disclaimer, this presentation is intended to help you understand and comply with the laws and regulations administered by TTB, and it's not intended to create any new or change any existing requirements, definitions, interpretations, or procedures. This presentation may become obsolete by changes in laws and regulations, and please consult the applicable laws, regulations, and public guidance for the most current requirements. So today I'll be giving a little bit of an overview of the Craft Beverage Modernization Act. I'll be talking about provisions that are new under the changes, as well as responsibilities for foreign producers and importers, and how to file claims. Finally, I'll be talking about next steps under the Craft Beverage Modernization Act. So giving a little bit of an overview of CBMA, for those of you who aren't already aware, the Craft Beverage Modernization Act provides for reduced rates of tax or tax credits for beer, wine, and distilled spirits. These credits and reduced rates apply for both domestic and imported products, and the benefits are limited in quantity on an annual basis for each producer, including foreign producers. And that's an important point. The benefits of the tax reductions belong to the foreign producers. And foreign producers can utilize these benefits by assigning them to U.S. importers of their products. U.S. importers pay the federal excise tax on imported alcohol beverages to CBP when products are entered into the country. So talking a little bit about how the CBMA import provisions have been operating, from 2018 to 2022, CBP has administered the CBMA tax provisions related to imported products. Foreign producers assigned the benefits by letterhead to their importers, and importers have been required to submit certain information to CBP at the time of entry, and also to maintain documentation relating to their CBMA benefits. Since late 2018, importers have been able to pay the reduced rates to CBP at the time of entry. But this is all about to change, as I'll be explaining on the next few slides. When CBMA was first enacted, it was a temporary law that would apply for 2 years. It was then extended for 1 year, and finally it was made permanent. When the law was made permanent in late 2020, a change in the law transferred responsibility for administering the CBMA tax benefits for imported alcohol beverages from CBP to Treasury, beginning with products entered for consumption in the United States on or after January 1st, 2023. Treasury has delegated this authority to TTB. Importantly, the law also changes the way in which importers will take advantage of tax benefits assigned to them. So beginning January 1st, 2023, importers must pay the full rate of tax to CBP and then may submit a claim to TTB for a refund of any reduced rates or credits. On September 23rd, 2022, TTB published a temporary regulation as well as a related notice of proposed rulemaking to implement the new provisions. The temporary rule took effect on October 24th, 2022, and the comment period for the notice closed on November 22nd, 2022. TTB will be evaluating the comments to that notice of proposed rulemaking and will publish a final rule in the future. However, the temporary rule is already in effect, and foreign producer registrations have already begun. To view the documents and the regulations specifically, you may search docket TTB-2022-0009 at regulations.gov. So we're going to go over some of the key provisions from the temporary regulations in the next few slides. So the first area of change is the foreign producers' responsibilities. Foreign producers, as I mentioned, may assign their CBMA tax benefits to one or more U.S. importers of their products. An importer cannot take advantage of the tax benefits unless the foreign producer has assigned their tax benefits to the importer. The foreign producer must assign the tax benefits using a new MyTTB online system. Each foreign producer may only assign a limited quantity of tax benefits for a category of products, and I'll get into more details. One thing to note is that we are building this online system with a lot of validations to ensure that the tax benefits that are assigned are accurate that they match up with entries, and that it also will control for over assignments to make sure that the accurate number of proof gallons or wine gallons of alcohol beverages are assigned without too many being assigned to importers. The foreign producers who wish to assign CBMA tax benefits first register with TTB using My TTB system and will receive a TTB Foreign Producer ID. A foreign producer may have a third-party agent register the foreign producer with TTB and make assignments of the tax benefits on its behalf. And we have information on our website about how to make that authorization. U.S. importers will use the TTB Foreign Producer ID to identify the foreign producer when submitting information to CBP during the entry process, as well as when submitting CBMA import claim information to TTB. This means that it's critical that the entry also have accurate information such as the TTB Foreign Producer ID, as well as the permit number of the importer, so that when we're processing the claims, we can do that accurately and quickly. The foreign producer will need the following information in order to register. They will need basic information such as the name and address and contact information for a point of contact. The unique Food and Drug Administration food facility registration number will also be used for registration. That's another way that TTB will validate the foreign producers and make sure that each one is entered once and not more than once. TTB is utilizing this interaction with FDA and CBP, again, to make the claims process smooth and accurate. All of the foreign producers should already have FDA food facility registration numbers. Finally, you'll also need ownership information if there's common ownership with other foreign or U.S. alcohol producers. So you need the name, address, and phone number of the individual or entity that owns more than 10% of the foreign producer. And for entity owners, you'll also need the US EIN or the DUNS number if the entity already has one of these numbers. This slide summarizes the information that will need to be entered in order to assign the CBMA tax benefits. Generally, this is the same type of information that needs to be specified today in the letters that are used to assign tax benefits to importers. But the assignment needs to have the calendar year for which the tax benefits are being assigned. The tax benefits can be assigned anytime between October of the previous year through December 31st of the applicable year. So for example, for the calendar year 2023, assignments can be made now, beginning with last October, all the way through the end of December. The assignment needs to have the importer to whom the assignment is made identified by the TTB permit number. And again, this is the reason why it's very important that the TTB permit number be accurate as well on CBP entries. In the rare instance when an industry member does not have a TTB permit number, TTB will assign a reference number. That will be for certain alcohol beverage imports for which a TTB basic permit is not required under the FAA Act. The assignment needs to also list the commodity and the specific rate or credit being assigned. So for example, the first 100,000 proof gallons may be imported at a rate of $2.70. And then the next tranche of imports may be at $13.34. So the quantity that is being assigned under each of those tax rates would need to be indicated on the assignment. The quantities of benefits available to be assigned may also be affected by controlled group rules. So again, the validations will ensure that the quantity limitations are met, and assignments may be returned or may be made later in the year. However, the foreign producer may not unilaterally revoke an assignment. An importer may return an assignment if they don't need the full amount. But again, additional assignments may be made throughout the calendar year, all the way through December 31st, 2023. So what are some of the responsibilities for the importers? Again, beginning January 1st, 2023, importers must pay the full rate of tax to CBP at entry. That tax rate is subject to any special effective tax rates for distilled spirits, so those may continue to be applied at the time of entry. To take advantage of the reduced rates, the importer must electronically file a refund claim from TTB. And importers may file those claims after the close of each calendar quarter, covering all entries in that quarter. An importer may only claim refunds on imports where the foreign producer has assigned their CBMA tax benefits to that importer using the MyTTB online system. We will be publishing further guidance on the importer claim system in the future as well. Before claiming a refund, the importer must submit information in their customs entry filings identifying the products that will be subject to the claim, including the commodity and quantity being imported with the assigned CBMA tax benefit, the name and TTB foreign producer ID of the foreign producer assigning the CBMA tax benefits, and the specific reduced rate or tax credit assigned to the imported quantity. This information is similar to the information that's being submitted today, with the exception of the TTB foreign producer ID, which is a new piece of information that will be required in the entry system. Again, to avoid duplicative data entry, TTB will be interacting with the ACE system and the MyTTB system as part of the claims process. So it's important that the claim information be accurate and that the entry information be accurate. An importer can file a quarterly refund claim based on the tax benefits assigned to them after imported products have entered the United States for consumption and after the importer has paid the tax due on those products at the full rate. Importers may not file refund claims more than quarterly. That is, the calendar quarter must have ended before the CBMA import refund claims may be filed for any entries made during that quarter. Importers must submit CBMA refund claims electronically using the MyTTB system, which will incorporate data from the CBP systems with the entries that should make the processing and entry of those claims smooth and accurate. If all data is filed in ACE with accurate information and the assignment has been made, we expect that those claims should be processed quite quickly. Information that doesn't match up will have manual processing, which might add to some of the processing time. So next steps. TTB CBMA imports site will continue to be updated with FAQs and guidance. We already have a user guide available, as well as information about the systems and an overview of the CBMA rules and links to the regulations. So you may find that on ttb.gov/alcohol/CBMA-imports. We will continue to update that page with ongoing training materials and videos and user guides. So please check it. And we will also add frequently asked questions as they come in. And speaking of questions, please submit any questions related to CBMA imports to TTB's Regulations and Rulings Division. You may contact them by telephone or by email using the contact page on ttb.gov at the website listed on the screen. Again, as those questions come in, we will be using certain questions that we see a lot to create new FAQs on our website. So pay attention to our website and please submit any applicable questions. Thank you for joining me today. Have a great day.
Visit TTB's official YouTube channel at USTTB.gov for more TTB-related content. And remember to click subscribe so you'll always know when we upload new videos.